Welcome back to the Better Men, Better Ball Player podcast. I'm your host, Trey Kopp. I want to thank you for joining us here on another episode, our 55th episode. And this episode is with special guest, another incredible assistant coach. I've had the pleasure of meeting the assistant coach, Tanner Vesely from Coronado del Sol in Arizona. Coach Vesely is also a USA Baseball national team coach. Both places he's been at since 2006. He started with Coronado del Sol in 2006. Started with USA Baseball in 06. Since his time at Corona from 06, the past 15 years, they've won a state championship. They've been state runner-up. And with USA Baseball, since 2006, they've won 4 gold medals, a silver. Was manager of the 2015 team. Was the U.S. Olympic Committee Developmental Coach of the Year in 2015. So Tanner Vesely is incredible. He's a grower of the game. You'll hear it in the episode how he's all about helping his kids succeed in life, making sure that they're developing kids that when they get to the next step, they're prepared for that next step. But you hear no ego. Very selfless, humble coach, wants to learn, and as he talked about it, walks the walk. Him and Coach Webb, but Coach Vesely is a guy that walks the walk. He's an assistant coach, continues to help out a tremendous program at Corona. You know, is one of the leaders in USA Baseball because this guy walks the walk. He's an absolute dude of a coach. Again, COVID this year helping us cross our paths. Really fortunate to be able to, text Tanner and be able to spend some time here this evening. Actually, recording a conversation with him. Just really fortunate and blessed to be able to know such a great guy. Guy continuing to learn. Guy that just in it for the right reasons, and so. We get into some serious topics all throughout. We kind of circle through from the mental side of the game. His advice to not only assistant coaches, other assistant coaches, but also to head coaches, and because he's seen it and he's experienced a ton of it, seen it all throughout the country. Just even from a simple thing of the outfield, he's an outfield expert. He's been on nationwide podcasts talking outfield with dugout chatter and sheets, and so we talk about the pro step versus the crow hop, which are the traditional step that people would take, and what he teaches and what he believes. Just throws out an absolute gem. It's actually like I said, it's at the price of admission. It's just our talk we had about that, but it gets into some serious topics. But this guy is incredible. Please, follow him on Twitter at TVES_23. You can email him out, Tanner Vesely. You can email him at tvesely, VESELY, at tempeunion.org. Again, we'll share. We've had great conversations. Doesn't hold anything back, and like I said, just willing to pay it forward. So just an incredible guy. Tanner, I can't thank you enough for this time, man. It was just super great to, again, talk to you once again. And I just know that people will enjoy this conversation. It's a great man, great guy, awesome coach. And I know that Webby's just extremely thankful to have such a great guy there with him. But without further ado, just want to introduce and enjoy this great conversation that I get to have with the assistant coach, Coronado del Sol, and USA Baseball coach, Tanner Vesely.
Again, we've been together a long time. We kind of know how each other's brains work. Obviously great coach, great dude to work for. There's nobody better out there in the country to work for than Dave Webb. That's why I've been there for so long.
Right.
He's very, very big in the assistant coaches having vested interests. So he'll say, hey, what do we need to do this week, guys? And we'll have input on that. it's a discussion that we'll have leading into the week, each and every week. But definitely there will be times where he says, hey, you got 40 minutes, go do with the outfielders what you need to do. And, again, he's got complete trust in his assistants. And again, he gets tons of input, and we all have vested interest. We all feel a part of it, each and every week, whether it's lineups or it's practice planning. So
the ultimate team guy, man.
Oh, he is. Yeah. Now, again, there's going to be times where he wants our input. And again, at the end of the day, it's his name he's writing on the card, so he's got to make a decision. But the fact that, that he asks and he values your input, and, sometimes, he wants to know why. And, as long as you can have some concrete reasons on why you think, this guy's better, or this is the way we should go, he'll go with it. So again, vested interest, and, lets you be a part of it.
So you mentioned about like, that's a reason that you're still with him, because he's such a good coach. He's given you that interest. Is that something that you've kind of gone through the years? Like, I'm sure, like, first year, was it just like that, or how has it kind of matured?
Obviously, first year is kind of a feeling out process. Just in how, whether it's philosophies on different things. The crazy thing is we're on such a same page as far as hitting philosophies and defense, pitching. It's crazy how similar we were just sitting down in a room, and it was just easy conversations. So it didn't take us very long, but that first year, definitely a feeling out process. But from right away, it was, again, a couple of conversations that we had, and from there it was a go, and you go do your thing, and it's been great. Again, I've had opportunities to go other places and be a head coach at other places, but I can't see it being better than what I've got now. For such a long time, I've got to coach with my best friends, work with my best friends, and it's a great place to be.
Yep. So, like, man, I guess just getting into like some advice for like assistant coaches, or like, wow, how have you, like, when those decisions come, what do you really fall back on? Like when you're sitting down with the decisions, because I'm sure you've had multiple, like, is that what you always come back to? Is just the friendships?
Well, again, you want to, with the amount of time that you're going to put in, and you're taken away from your family, and it's not baseball that pays the bills.
Right.
So you want to be around guys that you enjoy being around. You want good company. Again, our families hang out on the weekends. It's a great atmosphere. Like I was talking about the kids earlier, we've got great kids. So assistant coaches, again, and you don't want to align yourself all the time with guys that are exactly like you.
Yeah.
Because you learn and grow with people that are different than you. Like we said, having an idea and being able to back it up and sit down and talk through it. And that's how you grow. But again, as far as assistant coaches, get into a place where you're valued, that you get an opportunity to experience different responsibilities, and again, if Dave Webb said, "Hey, today you've got the game today," all you, like, whatever, having that opportunity and being able to do that, and just different experiences and getting to hear different things and different experiences, I guess.
Rare to see such a great coach. When you get them, they're great. They've been around for a while, and you can hand things over. And it's such an invaluable piece as a head coach, to have somebody, a trusted member like yourself, to do that. And I don't know. I think it's such a valuable role. And me and B-Matt were talking about last week was like, I just don't know many good programs that have a guy like you, like, 15 plus years that you can hand them like the game and they're not successful program.
Right.
Like I don't know any of, I've never met one.
Yeah, that's it. And again, that's for the longest time, that's kind of been the joke out here in Arizona is, Corona has the one-on-one pitching or the one-on-one coach to player ratio. I mean, we've got an ABCA Hall of Famer, Stan Lukatich, on our staff. At one point we had, I'm trying to do the math in my head really fast. I want to say we had like 14 gold medals, 3 silver medals, and a bronze medal on staff, like internationally. It's just, it's a special place. And we don't get you would think that with some of the resumes of like Dave Webb and Ron DeVinny and Stan Lukatich, those guys, you would think with those resumes that, the big, huge recruits would just roll in. And we don't really get those guys, but we get, like I was saying, we love our guys. We got guys that show up to work every single day. They play their butts off. They do everything that we ask. They're really, really enjoyable to be around. And it's fun every day. It's fun every day.
Mm-hmm. You said Ron DeVinny.
Oh yeah.
The BCA guy. He's part of the National High School Association, right?
Yes, sir. Coach Devo.
Yeah. He's out with you guys?
Coach Devo was the original coach at Corona del Sol High School. He did it for like 30, I don't know. Him and Dave Webb were the only coaches ever in the history of Corona del Sol.
Oh, wow.
Opened in 1977. Dave Webb took over in 06. So DeVinny was there that whole time. And then DeVinny for quite a while. He's been helping our freshman team. Last year was his last year with us, but he was been around for forever. So again, it's another person to be able to bounce ideas off of and get information from and continue to grow as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I said, there's not many and you said it yourself, there's not many places that you can go and get the experience that I've had coaching at Corona. So.
Yeah, for sure. That's so I think this goes into like when I remember like Coach Loshnick would always talk about like one thing that stuck to me about like kids talking about assistants is just trying to find a winner, and you attach yourself to a winner and you become a winner.
Yeah, well, we try.
Yeah.
We try. We give it our best.
Yeah, you are. Oh man, it's such an incredible. Yeah, it's just like you said. I mean, it's just what a great spot. Yeah, you work with Hall of Fame guys. But yeah, Rob. So I got to know. Well, not really know. He wouldn't know who I was. I spoke at the BCA one year in Nashville, and just got to meet Rob like that, and I think that a couple of times I put my membership in. You read it to Rob, I think. I want to say I wrote it to Rob. I don't know, might have addressed it to him one year or something like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Gosh, you just gotta like those kind. I mean, like here's a guy like running the association that's even part of your staff too. Like, I mean, geez, Pete, yeah, it's a great tradition for you guys. That's for sure, man. That's awesome. So I thought about this, and I don't know because we didn't text about this, but when I sent you the notes, and I was thinking, we said best advice for assistant coaches, but what about advice for head coaches?
Head coaches.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with people, number one, that you can trust. Surround yourself with good people that have your same beliefs, your same morals, your same foundation. Doesn't necessarily have to be the same philosophies. Again, I think that's kind of how we continue to grow and learn, is when you can sit down in a room and have a conversation about something. But guys that that have your back and you're going to have their back. And again, as much time as we spend together and away from our families, somebody that you get along with and you know, uh, you want to go to battle with.
Because I was just thinking, like 15 years being assistant. Just a Corona, let alone with your dad as well, and your time with USA Baseball. I'm sure you've probably been on the sidelines and just heard other coaches, with head coaches, maybe how they're dealing with assistant coaches, and where you're like, man, like probably shouldn't do that. I'm glad I'm not there.
Again, I've been very, very, very fortunate with where I'm at. But again, you hear about situations where, coaching staffs are backstabbing each other or going behind each other's backs, or they're trying to get a leg up on someone else, or you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
not healthy. It's a toxic relationship. It's a toxic atmosphere, environment. Kids pick up on it really, really fast. It's just not a good situation. And I just, if everybody in the program is not pulling the rope in the same direction, or have those feet all, both feet in the circle, as Coach Sharpie would say, you got to have both feet in, and everyone has to have both feet in order for you to accomplish your goals and do the things that you want to do, and do things the right way. So, you got to have guys that you can trust and believe in, and like Coach Webb does, provide honest feedback. Again, you don't want assistant coaches that are going to be yes guys. If they don't agree, they speak up. And then again, it turns into a conversation about, options, but you don't want yes guys all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, all the time either. You can't have everybody arguing every time either. Because I'm sure, yeah. With, like you said, you and Webb we sat in a conversation. We have the same kind of, like, we're just so close as well. So you still got to have a guy like where you kind of,
right,
at least on some level, are still on the same page.
Absolutely.
So here's a question. It just got me thinking about, like, you talked about everybody pulling the same rope, everybody being on the same page, and kind of like be mad. And I talked to RJ about this a little bit, about the relationship that assistant coaches that
right now, like following B Mad and RJ. Are you kidding me? Like, those are two of the best dudes on the planet.
Yep. And that's why you're right here, brother.
You got this schmuck following you up.
Yeah. So, but it was because I have a feeling that knowing Coach Webb and his expectations, and where Coach Vesely will come in here with, are you guys so similar that do they still have a hard time even finding a relationship with you, or are you able to kind of fit in there and say, hey, here's what Coach Webb's talking to you about, and kind of have a different relationship to help bring guys along?
I think there's always a different relationship with players if you're the head coach, always. Yeah. And so again, I think we can, again, Coach Webb is very, very good at what he does. He's very, very good at communicating and getting out in front of things. But sometimes, sometimes an assistant coach needs to come back right behind him and say, look, again, like on every staff, head coach says something, assistant coach comes in behind and kind of reinforces, or assistant coaches just have different relationships with players than the head coach. It's that way everywhere in the country. I don't think there's a spot where that's not true. Mm-hmm. So always a different relationship, always being able to, there's things that players will tell assistant coaches that they won't tell head coaches, and vice versa. So, whether they can come to me or Coach Lukatich, and that's what we preach to our kids is communication. We like to stay out in front of things. So if we're making lineup changes, we go to them in advance and we say, hey, look, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. It's not going to be a shock if they walk up. They're not going to walk up on game day and look at the lineup card and be like, hey, what the heck? You know what I mean? For somebody that's been playing 4 or 5 or 6 games in a row, they're going to know, what we're doing, why we're doing it. And that's one thing we're really, really big at on our staff is the whys, in anything that we do, whether we're talking hitting, we're talking, mechanics or movements or, foundation stuff. It's not just, this is the way it is. This is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it. So there's an understanding, again, because at some point those kids are going to leave us and they're going to go play somewhere else. That's the goal.
Yeah.
And those guys are going to have to go somewhere. They're going to have to know their swing. They're going to have to know their foundation stuff and what makes them the player where, the school or the team wanted them to come there. And they need to be able to, we know how hard this game is, and when you're in that stretch of 3 for 30 and you've got to get yourself back to you've got to understand your foundation and your philosophy, I guess, on what makes you, so that you can get back to you as quickly as possible. And now that 3 for 30 ends, and now we can go, 10 for the next 25 or whatever it is, and get back on track and again, become the player that they brought you in to be. So
it definitely sounds like you're able to have that just different relationship, where, like you said, certain things that players just will not talk to the head coach about, where you can kind of offer that. And
again, Coach Webb's way smarter than me, so he uses big fancy words sometimes too that we both look at. Like players are looking at me, and I'm looking at players like. So we'll break it down, and then we can use it. We can use it into the language that we understand, and I can, Coach Webb can say that we're doing this, and this, and a player can look at me and I say, hey, we're just doing this, and they're like, oh, okay, and so again, it's just again, I think it's everywhere you go. Whether you're talking about Butch Chaffin or you're talking about Jeremy Sheetinger or Adam Mosley or whoever else. I just think that relationship with the head coach is going to be different than with an assistant coach.
Oh, sure. And they're just fortunate to get. So I'm just thinking about the relationship piece of it. Like you said, things that players say to you that they don't say to the head coach. How do you keep that trust with that player who came to you about that, and then still honor your relationship with the head coach? And how do you, the challenge?
If it's a big situation, something that's really affecting the program or it's affecting the team or the group or whatever, then obviously, that's something that's got to be shared with the head coach. But, sometimes it's just something small or simple that, hey, I feel like I'm doing this, but maybe I'm not. What are you seeing? That type of stuff.
Yeah.
Other times it's like, these kids these days have more stress put on them now than they've ever had on them, probably in the history of our, country or whatever. Things are just different. Situations are different. Home life is different. Expectations at home are different. We see it all the time where, parents are screaming from the stands or, just the pressure that we put on the kids to get that D1 scholarship each and every week. Instead of just going out and enjoying the game and enjoying the experience as long as it lasts and that kind of stuff. So again, I don't know if I'm answering any of your questions right, but
we're having a great conversation, brother. It's always great talking to you, T.
You're going to earn your money tonight, brother.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Oh man. So I tell you what, the last, what you just talked to Bill about, like guys getting back to like their zero, like going like over 30 for 30, going 10 for 20. You talk about the mental game. So basically you're talking about kind of keeping yourself right in the mental game. So what do you teach with the mental game? Like, how do you incorporate that in the high school guys? Like, I know that you said Coach Webb can get, like, how do you, break it down and make it simple for your guys?
Again, just the lights just being turned on about the whole mental side of things. I know there's been a couple of books that have been out for a really, really, really long time, but as far as the entire game now kind of grasping about how important the mental side of of this thing is we talk about it all the time. We talk about it all the time. Approaches. Okay. And again, stepping into the box, and you're not hoping to get a hit, you're going to get a hit. It's, whether we talk about, what's going through your mind as you step into the box, and you step into that box knowing that no matter what this guy throws, you're absolutely going to destroy it. There's no way that they're going to beat you. And at the end of the at bat, if they get you, or if you ground out or whatever, you're running past the pitcher's mound saying, you got so lucky. Next time I'm actually, I'm going to absolutely obliterate a ball. And there is no way you're going to get me out again. It's all about the approach in the box. Same thing on the mound. I want the ball. And again, it's whether it's game time situations like that, or it's even practice. We talk about real versus feel all the time. What does it feel like I'm doing? If we're talking about path down to the ball or whatever it is, it may feel like you're swinging down on the ball, almost like you're hacking it. Christian Yelich in the cage, the setup that he worked with Barry Bonds, or Freddie Freeman, Nelson Cruz. You talk to those guys, Chipper Jones. They talk about, I'm literally trying to swing down on the ball. Even Mike Trout says, ball off the tee or flip or whatever, I'm actually trying to swing down on the baseball. It feels like I'm chopping it. Now, when all realistically aside, they're not really swinging down and chopping at it. It's actually a nice level flat swing that translates into a game. So again, real versus feel is really, really big for us. But again, the mental side and the positive self-talk, again, this is the hardest game in the world to play. So the positive self-talk is very, very big for us. It's something that we talk about all the time, each and every week. And having that approach in practice, and then taking it and letting it transfer into games where you step into the box and you're going to get a hit. Okay. So guys that know they're going to get a hit, they'll step into the box, they'll hit 400. Guys that are hoping to get a hit, I don't want to strike out. I don't want to pop up. Right. Those are 200 hitters. So again, positive self-talk, know that you're going to get a hit, know that you're going to get the job done when you step on the mound. Know that you're going to get the job done when the ball comes to you, whether it's on the infield or on the outfield. Just knowing that you're going to do what's asked of you when it is, and having that belief is huge for players. And with as hard as our game is. Absolutely.
So, I know that you have your responsibilities with the outfielders, and then when you come to hitting and you come to offense, is this something that you'll be able to work with your hitters like on the side, like maybe some side work? Are you working with them like one-on-one, maybe different times? I know, we all have our time limit and time constraints. So like, where do you find a high school kid the best place to do that with them?
Well, again, we're really lucky. We have a baseball class that is 7th hour. Okay. So, we can be in the weight room with some of the guys, and then send some, today's middle infielder days, where the middle infield can go out and can get 200 ground balls in and work double play feeds and work communication and do things, or we can just go to the tunnel and it can be, one-on-one or 1-on-3 sessions where, maybe we're just working high T, or maybe we're working something specifically with 3 guys that maybe are having, an issue with something, or we see something in a swing. So, we're able to split that up, because I can be in the class teaching, and Coach Lukatich can be out at the field, or Coach Webb, because he's got prep, can be out there and take advantage of that time slot to work with players in small groups or individually. In practice, again, because we have such a large staff, you can have the coach throwing BP, you can have the coach, Coach Webb can be standing on the cage talking to hitters. We can have a fungo guy, and then we can have a coach down the line, whenever you send high school kids down the line to the tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
you know how that goes. You know how that
Mm-hmm.
goes. I'm going to hit the top of the cage, and I'm going to, I'm just, it
Just
turns
watch,
into,
wait for the coach to see what he's looking at
right,
me.
right. It turns into grab ass. Right. So,
Yeah.
fortunately we get to have a coach down there all the time working with hitters, and we can rotate. Again, with the guys that we have on our staff, we can rotate that all the time. So Coach Lukatic may be down there one day. I may be down there one day. So again, really, really lucky with our situation, but definitely able to break it down on into it, to get that time with individual or small groups as well, just because of how our situation works.
Yeah, with the period and that you have the baseball period there.
Yeah.
So and you guys, so on top of the great staff you have 3 people on staff that actually work in the building too.
So we have 6 coaches on varsity. 5 of them are on site at school.
Well, that's even another game changer,
which is humongous. Our pitching coach is on campus. And then our other 2 assistants are on campus as well. In other aspects or other areas of campus. For a long time, our head JV coach was on campus. Our head freshman coach was on campus. Like we've been very, very lucky in that situation. Mm-hmm. So, and we've got them spread out in all different areas. We had them in science and foreign language and PE and history. And so, those kids didn't make it very long throughout the day without having somebody, or at least having our eyes on them in the hallways. It really makes it, it's a great situation. Again, it's what makes it so hard to leave,
Yeah, for sure. No, man, it is a great, and I know Webby's high standards of kids and things like that. So absolutely. It's no wonder, you got guys, they're always on, their grade point average will be better. They got to pay attention. They're going to even do better in school.
Sure. For sure. We get to have our thumb on them all the time.
For real.
Again, very, 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 very blessed with the kids that we've had on our campus and in our program. We've said it, we'd rather, lose with winners than win with losers. Grades for us are, you're there to go to school. You're there to go to school. That is first priority. Every high school has that line where, if you have an F, you can't play. Well, at Corona, if you have a D in a class, you cannot play in a game until that is fixed. Mm-hmm. You're there to go to school. That's first priority. And you're going to be a good person. We're very, very big about getting out into the community and doing community service stuff. We do Feed My Starving Children, which boxes food up and sends it overseas to countries that are starving. Christmas Eve, we head down to St. Vincent de Paul and feed the homeless. Sometimes, but the amount of kids that show up for these events, it's huge. We'll have the entire program and parents and everything show up. It's not like just 8 to 10 or 12 kids. It's the entire program that shows up, and we do the Miracle League where we go out and play wiffle ball with special needs kids, and the kids have a blast. They're like, Coach, when can we do that again? So we try and do that a couple of times a year. It's about building young men to be better husbands, better fathers, brothers, all of it. And, we want them to enjoy the experience while they're here. But again, we get to use baseball and we get to use other things to teach them about life and what it should be and what it should look like. You've talked about Coach Webb and his high standards. We preach we live what we preach, I guess. We talk about being good people and walking the walk and being selfless and being uncommon. Those are big words in our program: selfless and uncommon, thinking of others, putting others first. And doing what you can to help others. And that's a big belief for us. And that's, So.
And like you said, And it's a shame. I know it's not a shame, but it's just pretty surprising why you don't get the big recruits that you're saying. Like you're saying. I just
Well,
I
I'll
could
just
like
tell
I'm
you,
like, can we just I'll just send my son across the country to just have, just
we'd
put him
love
up
to
at your
have.
house for a while.
We would love to. Again, it's not for everybody.
That's
It's
right.
really
That's
not. It's
right. And
really
you
not
can't
for
be everything
everybody.
for everybody. You're right.
Right. It's not for everybody. Again, that's why we enjoy our kids so much. You're going to do things right in the classroom, in the hallways, in the community, on the field. We're going to do things the right way, and again, like that's the standard. That is a standard we will not budge on, ever. Doesn't matter how good you are. But again, like we said, it's not for everybody, and that's okay. That's
Mm-hmm.
okay. We want the guys that want to be there, and we're going to go to battle with what we got. We love our guys each and every year.
Mm-hmm. So being an assistant coach, all right, looking at this and kind of things, like, are these all of these the the kind of community service and kind of building better men? Is this something else that both you and Webby were both on the same page about, or is it something that you maybe brought to the forefront, or he kind of brought you along to?
It's I can tell you the Saint Vincent de Paul was something that Coach Lukatich brought with him when he came over from Desert Vista. It was something that he did while he was over there, in his Hall of Fame career. But it was something that he brought to Coach Webb and said, "Look, this is something that we did," and absolutely, I mean, it was like no hesitation. It was absolutely, we are doing that. That's great. Again, it's not something that we ever force the kids to do or make the kids do. We just say, "Hey guys, this is what we are doing. We know it's Christmas Eve, so enjoy your families, whatever, but this is where we're at." And again, we show up the next morning and everybody's there. Again, there's no pressure to be there or whatever. It's just, it's something that they want to do. As far as the other stuff, again, no, we're one unit. We're one package. As a staff, we're all in together. That's what makes it such a great place to be.
Yeah, true, for sure. Because I'm just thinking, like, I'm an assistant coach at my
Right.
school. These are things that I believe in, or like this. I think like this can help us. How would you approach that situation, like coach? Like, how would you approach it to your head coach?
Sit down, have a chat. Again, communication is humongous. Sit down and say, "Look, I think this would be really beneficial for our boys. It will help the community." Again, Corona is a community. When you're talking income wise, it's a comfortable place. So when we go down to St. Vincent de Paul and you turn the corner and you see the situations that some other people are in. Very, very, very humbling. And it opens their eyes to get outside their little bubble.
Right.
But there's more than just Tempe, Arizona, and there's more out there in the world, and there's more issues going on than their iPhone keeps dying and they need a new phone or things like that. That it really opens their eyes and gives them perspective in how lucky they are to be where they are and how blessed they are to be in the situation and have the opportunities that they have. So it's a conversation that you sit down, you have with your coach and just say, "Look, I think this would be really, really great for our boys, for our program, for the community." Again, it's about building better people. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's not about wins and losses. Again, being an assistant coach, I'd say one other thing to get yourself a group of coaches, whether it's in your community or around the country, And I'm very, very fortunate to be a part of a group that we can bounce ideas off of. We can talk trash to each other. We can, talking with Adam Mosley from Hoover High today, they just, you think you're going a direction, and, again, he dropped a bombshell on us today, just a reality bomb today that, it's not always about wins and losses. And sometimes there's other things going on, and life is going on for the players, and, they have lives outside of that fence too. And it just brings you back. So to have a group that you can bounce ideas off or get things from, or just sit and learn from, or, just sit and talk to, and they're there to listen to you, or you're there to listen to them. It's so invaluable. And that's one thing I would tell every assistant or every head coach to do, is to go out and find a group of guys that you can do that with. And again, just one more reason why I'm this, this game is, again, coming from a small town in Arizona, I never would have thought I've gotten to go to the places I've gotten to go and see the things. And it's all through baseball. Mm-hmm. And the baseball community is so small. It's crazy. And you just never know, one simple conversation, the next thing you know, you're moving states, or you're moving somewhere, or, a job opens up and you get a phone call, and it's crazy how small the world is, in this baseball community. And I think it's like no other community in any other sport. I think the baseball community is so much more willing to share ideas and share knowledge, and share, Chuck Box will share with anybody on the planet that just asks. Incredible. Right? That guy's Hall of Fame in every book in America. Right. Mm-hmm. But I think our game is willing to share, where, other sports aren't maybe willing to share as much, because at the end of the day, we spend time away from our families, and maybe our families are mad at us, or our kids are mad at us, our wives are mad at us. If we don't have each other, our players are mad at us, whether we're playing or not, or whether they're playing or not. Like, who else do we really have? You know what I mean? Right. We got each other. And I just think the baseball community is closer than maybe other communities that are willing to share and do those things.
I totally agree. I agree. You said it. You said it.
Right.
I've said, it's been said many times, but you said it. You said it really
whether it's you have a small group of buddies that you get to bounce ideas off of, or you have these small conventions in the middle of nowhere that nobody knows about, and have fun and talk baseball and hang out with a bunch of guys that you've never met before from all over the country. Like, it doesn't get better than that. It really doesn't.
Yeah, that was incredible. It doesn't. I love how you put that too. Like, look, all these other people are mad at us. Kids are mad at us. Like, we're away.
Students are mad at us.
Students are mad at us getting bag graded. We're holding them. Players are not playing. He's mad at us.
Right.
Who else we got? You need a group of guys we can just say, man.
You need your guys. You got to stick together. And again, we all have coaches, whether it's in our league or in our community or whatever, that you just don't see eye to eye with. But
yeah,
again, you got to have that group of dudes. Mm-hmm. Very, very blessed to have my group of dudes.
Yeah, it's great. I love where that's going. And I honestly think, like, I was just talking to somebody else, coach, that's one thing that I believe that this COVID has, and this pandemic, like it grew that, like it, because like
100%,
like we're sitting here with a Zoom call, like what even thought about that before the pandemic, like all of these things kind of helped. And now, hey, let's get these group together, and this can be easily go. Like, I don't know how your group was before COVID, but did it, like, did COVID increase it, or they could like make it more intimate? You know what I mean?
100%. It opened doors to opportunities that I would never have gotten to have had I not had my group. I mean, having a Zoom call with Coach Thompson, I'm talking with coaches from Clemson. I'm talking with coaches from Fullerton, and just all over the country that I've never would have had the ability, the time, the resources to do. the one positive thing from COVID, and again, COVID took a lot of things away for a lot of people. The one positive is that I think it allowed us as coaches to kind of sit back and really look at what we feel is important as far as skill wise, or to maybe re-educate ourselves in certain areas because we had time to do it. And again, we had the ability to listen to speakers and to get into touch with people, through Zoom, and just learn, whether you grabbed one thing. And again, Coach Sheets did the thing in last spring with, the stick and ball with the dugout chatter thing. And like every Tuesday night where you had, tons of people on, and even if you just got to grab that one thing each and every week and just add it to your binder, but you got to sit down and really evaluate what you were teaching. Could you get better at it? And it really, really gave you the ability to learn about maybe areas that you felt like you struggled in. That's one thing. Coach Lopez, University of Arizona, Andy Lopez, awesome human being, awesome coach. That was one thing he taught me when I was super, super young as a coach, just, right out of being done playing. He said, Tanner, every year I take something, one part of the game, one skill in the game. And he says, I pretend like I knew nothing about it, and I'll go and research, whether it's base running or whatever. And he said, I'll pour everything into that to make sure that we're doing everything the right way, the most efficient way. But he'll take one skill or one thing each and every year and dive in and just see if he can get better at that one thing. And that stuck with me, again, with his resume and what he's done in the game. If it's good enough for him, it's definitely good enough for me.
Amen. I go with you there, buddy. Yeah, just a thought that come in my mind about that, because especially you, like, and you see this in teachers too, like they get very driven in their content, their specific content, like you're outfielding, you're being asked all over the country about your outfield stuff. How are you able to keep yourself like looking at all those different aspects? Are you still looking at, hey, maybe what about the infield, or about, I know you're big in the bunting, or like, but how do you try to keep yourself well grasped on different areas of the game?
That's big too. When it first started, and I was doing all outfield stuff, and you're right. Like you get away from the infield, you don't get to see what they're doing. You don't get to see some of the new stuff that they're doing, or the new vocabulary, or just the new ideas. And it's the whole kind of, you don't use it, you lose it type of thing.
Yeah.
So I got to the point, and you're 100% right, where I felt like, oh my God, like if I was to go somewhere else and take a job, like, could I teach infielders?
Right.
And so I never wanted that feeling again. So again, it's always, I try to get myself, in the situations or around it as much as I can. I mean, just because I do outfield stuff, it doesn't mean that I don't research infield stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff translates from the infield to the outfield. A lot of stuff, it happens each and every year where, the outfield coach or whatever, you're handed 2 or 3 infielders that says, hey, we got to make these guys outfielders. And you got to be able to relate to those guys and the footwork of an infielder versus the footwork of an outfielder. And you got to be able to relate to those guys. So knowing their vocabulary and their sequences and their movements and that kind of stuff, their patterns, just helps me in the transition if somebody's moving to the outfield, or again, some situation comes up where now I'm talking to infielders and I need to be able to talk.
Well, like that's in a high school job, a high school coach's job, life happens to, high school with high school coaches, and you might get thrown to you have to run the show today. Somebody, somebody's hurt or whatever, life happens. So that's why I was just, wanting you to stay sharp and things like that. But life happens and you might have to be thrown into somewhere else.
Right. And again, I think again with baseball, you're a baseball coach. Like it's not so specific. It's not you're a catcher's coach. In football, they really have that. You're the offensive line coach. You're the linebackers coach. And that's all you really look at and worry about. Baseball coaches are baseball coaches. You know what I mean? Like they see the whole game. They see it all. They're around it all. Like, and again, I think that's what makes, our games special.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that one focus. It's the whole picture and getting to see the whole game. Obviously if for me, like you start talking high end pitching stuff, like for me, you're speaking another language. Like that's where it's just like,
yeah,
throw it over the white thing. You know
that's
what I
like
mean?
when Mose gets going, like holy moly.
When Mose starts talking, like I try to be a sponge. And it's just again, he is unbelievable at what he does. I could listen to Sherm talk hitting all day as far as, what he does and how he does it and has his guys ready. But again, like that's just, but you're right. Mose is on another planet, but for me, that's probably my weakest area that I just, that's the one area for me that's really hard to have time and dive in, because again, I'm throwing pen or, I'm throwing BP or whatever, and they're talking one-on-one in the bullpen.
Right.
But again, our pitching coach is really, really good about communicating with us and what we're trying to do and who needs to do what and that kind of stuff. So, again, we're baseball coaches. We do it all.
Yeah. Well, you love the game too. When it's baseball, you love the game and you're interested in, and you also can I think the good coaches understand other good coaches. Like, you just recognize talent and you want to learn from those guys, like it's just what it comes down to. But yeah, it's so hard because you want to do your job really well, and I know you want to be the best in the country doing it, but then I'm sure that helps. But then like you said, it doesn't you want to be able to have in the back of your mind, hey, if something would happen, I got to be able to teach this too.
Right.
But I definitely like how you say, because most of the time that happens, especially coming high school. A lot of those guys coming into high school are mostly been infielders for the most part. And a lot of them are just going to become outfielders because of whatever circumstances. And like you said, I think that was really smart. You should have, if you can incorporate the same kind of language, where they might be receiving it, right, the different vocabulary. I think that's really smart, and it'll help transfer, what they know. It's good.
Fingers crossed. Right.
Good. Yeah, that's good. That's good, man. That's the price of admission right there, man. No, that was super good. So that's got me thinking about what you would teach an outfitter, because I think we had this conversation, and I want to see where you are now with it about the pro step versus your crow hop.
Okay.
And where are you at on it?
Again, I'm gonna tell you the same thing that we talked about back in December.
Okay.
I am going to teach the kids both, so that they are very, very comfortable in either one. They're very familiar with either one.
Mm-hmm.
Personal preference for me with high school kids is the old traditional. And I'll tell you why. The talk of it being faster and less steps and whatever, I think sometimes we're jeopardizing accuracy of throws. I think sometimes we are jeopardizing. I've watched kids that they do the pro step and they charge a ball and they come full speed and they get right up to the ball and they come to a complete stop to get their feet right, so they don't overrun it because they field the ball too deep in the pro step. It's not out there with the foot. They overrun the ball, or it now kicks off a glove and kicks away. At the high school level, I've seen more kids fumble balls, or a ball kick off a glove, or overrun, or come to a complete stop and kill all momentum because they want to do the pro step, where again, I'm going to tell you, I teach both, and I let the kids decide, what are you most comfortable doing? Okay. But you got to be really, really efficient at it. I've just found that, again, in the high school game, plays don't really come down to the timing that it might in the big leagues or at the college level.
Mm-hmm.
What it comes down to is, was my throw on target?
Yeah. The execution, just the execution of it. Sure.
It's never that my throw was late because I took too long or whatever. It's usually because my throw's off right or left, or I short hopped the throw.
Yeah. Very solid point.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So again, I'm not saying that the pro step is bad. I'm just telling you, like, at the high school level, that's what I tend to see the most. I can tell you, again, I teach both, but I'll tell you, like, 95% of my players over the last 10 years have been the traditional.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll show them 2 or 3 different ways to do the traditional. But again, for them, it's the most comfortable. They're the most accurate. They're most efficient. Okay. Because again, take the situation again where you bring an infielder to the outfield.
Yeah.
Right. Now, how has an infielder been taught his entire life to field a slow roller and get it out in one step? Right. Fielding it on that glove side foot up in front, gloves on the inside, right? Take the one step, get it out. But now we'd move them to the outfield, and we're asking them to, hey, glove foot is actually going to be back, and you're changing the footwork completely.
Mm-hmm. Just absolutely.
And it just, again, I found with the infielders, the transition has been easier. And I can tell you, every year for the 15 years, Coach Webb has grabbed 1 or 2 or 3 guys and said, we need these guys' bats in the lineup.
Yep.
Go teach them to play outfield.
Yep.
And again, at the high school level, I don't think it comes down to bang bang because our throw is late. I think it's because it's off target, because sometimes our arm doesn't get caught up, or again, now the ball kicks off. I think we've been more, at least at Corona, we've been more efficient with the traditional step.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm going to teach them both. I want them to have every tool in the tool belt. And then again, they're going to decide what tools they use. I also feel that if you teach them both, now you get into a do or die situation. They've got to come get the ball, and they're not worried about what position their feet are in. They're just literally running up to get the ball. And however they field it, they've been in that position before. They know where their feet are, and they know what they have to do to get the ball in the air and get it to where it needs to go.
Mm-hmm. That's smart. And then, because the ball can dictate even what kind of step you're going to take.
Right.
The play's going to dictate it, which just like an infielder does too. The ball typically is going to dictate if I'm going to pick and choose where the hops are.
Absolutely.
Smart.
Ball tells you everything. Speed of ball.
Ball.
Everything. Yeah.
Speed of ball.
Yep.
Yep. That was the same. I was wondering if you were still in the same school. Yep. That was the same.
Same.
I couldn't agree more. I think even for the developmental purpose, like you said, the goal is you're going to play college baseball beyond here. You're going to play somewhere else. Do you have these skills that can be taught?
Right.
Absolutely.
Again, they're not going to get to a campus where it's the first time they've ever done it.
Right.
It's not a first time that they've ever heard it or experiencing it. It's something that they've done before. And so now if their outfield coach, that's what they want them to do 100% of the time. They've done it before. The foundation is there, and they can transfer that or transform that into what they need to do to play for their next coach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But again, the tools in the tool belt, they have the tools then. And again, I can bang a hammer with the end of a drill, but you know what I mean? Like just using the right tool at the right time and making sure it's the most efficient tool.
No, that's great, man. Love that answer. Love that approach. And talk about just ownership of guys, man. But I couldn't agree too about the execution of things, because I think so much we make decisions in high school to maybe push an envelope, because look, like let's think of a dirt ball read in high school.
Right.
Like the guy's got to pick it up and throw it, like making it like it's not about him. It's about him just being able to make the play, not
Right.
necessarily the speed of it. It's like to put the ball in the bag, actually block it, keep it close.
Got to block it, keep it close, jump up, grab it, throw a perfect throw, and the other guy's got to catch it and tag you.
Right.
Be aggressive. Go.
Right. So it's
Right.
the same kind of like what you're saying about even with the pro hop and the pro step. Just it's about the execution of it, to be able to throw it on the bag. Can you get it there?
Right.
If the ball's going to beat them, you're out.
And you tip your hat. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's nothing worse than having a guy thrown out by 10 feet. You're throwing a ball home, and now you've either short hopped the catcher and he can't catch it, or comes away and it gets by, or now we've airmailed the catcher. You know what I mean? Like, and it happens all the time. You see it at the high school level where guys are dead to rights. And then the throw, or we don't get on top of the throw now, and now the ball tails on you, and you know what I mean? And it's the snowball fight begins,
Right.
So again, it's about being efficient and getting the ball where it needs to go. And just, again, being efficient and accurate and getting the ball where it needs to go, get the ball up in the air, and nobody can outrun a baseball, right? Usain Bolt can't outrun a baseball. Get the ball in the air, and good things happen.
There you go. Well, dude, this has been great. Anything else? Advice? Anything else that you feel that the baseball world needs to know right now? Anybody else before we get rolling?
Learn as much as you can. Learn each and every day. Surround yourself with individuals that are going to make you better. Don't settle. Get that 1% better each and every day. But again, have a group of guys that you enjoy being around, but challenge you as a person, as a man, as a coach, as a husband, a father, and better yourself each and every day. Yeah.
Camp. So Tanner, anybody else want to talk more about the pro step or anything else that you guys might do? Being the best assistant coach, what's the best way to reach out to you, buddy?
You can reach out on Twitter, direct message me. I do my best to get back at you. It's at TVES, V as in Victor, ES _23. That's on Twitter. Email me, Vesely, V as in Victor, ESELY at Tempe, like Tempe, Arizona, TempeUnion.org. Again, always willing to help out and share. And again, I feel like there's been numerous people that I could thank and that have helped me get to where I'm at and what I've known and that kind of stuff. So I'd love to share and do that for someone else and kind of pay it forward. Someone did it for me. So I would love to do it for others as well.
Coach Tanner Vesely from Corona del Sol, Arizona, and USA Baseball. Just can't thank him enough for the great content, covering a wide variety of topics, and just making me better. And if you're still sticking with us, I'm sure it made you a little bit better. And that's just like what Coach was saying earlier. Just getting a little bit better each day, and that's what we're trying to do here today. And really appreciate you, Coach Vesely, for taking that time and helping us out and get better today. Just really loved what I heard there, right there at the end about the pro step versus the crow hop. Just giving the guys the tools and allowing the speed of the ball to dictate which one they would rather do. I also feel like the game's going to show, how they perform it. And it's going to give them, say, hey, pro step's not working for me. I need to go the traditional route. I need to go with the crow hop. Love that. Just loving the way that making their decisions based on the relationships, based on the environment that he's in, looking at what's around you, where it's at, because He's making the best out of it. He's getting incredible opportunities. Just continuing to be the best coach that he can be, no matter what position. And he's being the best where his feet are. I think it's a great lesson of any coach to be the best where your feet are, to be great where your feet are. And Tanner's definitely doing that. And man, I just can't thank him enough, Coach Vesely, for taking some time here. Appreciate you coming on. And again, anybody wants to reach out to him, you can reach out to him at tves_23 on Twitter, or email him at tvesely, that's VESELY, at tempeunion.org. Always willing to share. You heard it there right at the end. People will share with him, and he wants to continue to pay it forward. So, phenomenal coach. And can't recommend him enough. And just really appreciate the time, Tanner, and just really thankful for the opportunity for our paths to have crossed this year. So, looking forward to the next conversation, my man. So, continue to share the podcast. Continue to let me know. Give me any feedback. Reach out to me. Anybody you think that is this type of guy. All right? Tanner Vesely was the type of guy that this show is about. You know, where we're learning, we're trying to get better, and at the end of the day, we know these people are going to be people longer than they are baseball players, and we're trying to help them out with that. And I love guys that walk it, just like Coach Vesely, and many, and all the other guests before him. You know, about people that walk it. So continue to walk it, continue to make yourself better. And until next week, keep getting better.